This week on the podcast, we're joined by the one and only Bubba Pudding. We talk Apex, some news surrounding the PlayStation, graphics cards in the market. Maybe we can actually buy some. Holy fuck. All of that and more in this week's episode of the podcast. Roll the intro.
Pudding.
That one sounded suspiciously like Hank Hill. Just gonna let you know that right now.
It's good because Bubba was definitely mowing before you got here. We had to throw it back there, man.
Yes.
It sounded terrible on my end too, just so you guys are aware.
Cool. Yeah, I was to say it sounded like we couldn't understand a damn word you were trying to say. Hello and welcome to Next to Nothing, a podcast for gamers on a budget. I'm your host Danny K. With me, as always, the wonderful, the beautiful, the Mr. Green Elite Green. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm here. I'm alive. I can't complain.
Excellent.
How you doing, Danny?
I'm doing pretty decent. I can't complain yet. There's still time. We're also joined by the spooky and the ookily. It's Mendacii. How you doing, Mendacii?
Great, man. Pretty spooky. I spent all of Memorial Day weekend having this continuing nightmare of people that weren't people. It was very like Body Snatchers-esque. But they would lull you into a sort of false sense of security, and then you just wouldn't be anymore. It's not sure what that means. It's not like one of those dreams where all your teeth fall out, but just imagine everyone you know slowly being replaced by something that isn't quite them. And maybe I'm not quite myself, Danny.
Okay. I'm going to leave it. We're also joined once again. Bubba, it's been a while. How long has it been, Bubba?
49 months? I don't know.
But we're also joined by the one and only Bubba Pudding, who is a longtime friend of the show. And I almost feel like it's been at least 2 years since you've been on the show.
Since been on the show?
Yeah.
It was probably OG at the time frame, like when it was like the beginning stages. So yeah, it's been a hot minute.
Yeah.
Glad to be here.
Yes, I am glad to have you on. We are longtime friends.
Yeah.
So, and it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, man.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. Go for it.
Oh,
as I drink out of this lovely Next to Nothing podcast mug.
That's true.
Ooh, reppin'.
That is true. That is a lovely Next to Nothing mug. Yeah. So we've been longtime friends, Bubba. For the folks who have not met you yet, who are you? What do you do? And where can people find you?
My name, you can call me Bubba. That's about as simple as that could be. Bubba Pudding over on the Twitch and the stuff. As of now, I would classify myself as an Apex streamer. That's kind of the biggest thing. I did jump around there quite a bit. I was in the farming simulator in the start. That was a wonderful time, and it still is a wonderful time. But yeah, just doing a lot of Apex stuff, and got my own podcast as well too. But I won't share too much at the moment. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm up to nowadays.
See, that's a new development for me. I don't think I knew that.
We're just about our 1 year. It's coming up.
See, we have to reconnect more often. We'll have to talk about that after the show, but plug it, baby boo. What's the show?
So it's called Metro Machines. The Metro Machines podcast essentially is what it is. It's me and 4 other dudes that we basically, I don't want to say we grew up together, but we had a fun like 5 years. For me, it started back in 2013, and then that was just kind of like our buddy who runs the thing is a DJ. And so back in the day, he used to do a lot of like dances and stuff for like at the time it was high school dances and stuff like that. So that was just kind of like our way to get out on the weekends. But as we grew older, it just wasn't as successful. So he made the switch over to weddings. And now our podcast is based around basically advice for new newlyweds and stuff like that, like what to do and what not to do at weddings, and then also our random trips that we do, which we actually just came back from this past weekend. So
Excellent. Guys, go check that out. Of course, the links will be in the description of this episode if you watch on YouTube. And guys, of course, as always, thanks for watching and listening to the show. If you miss any part of the show, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. If you want to join us live, you can find us on Twitch every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Central Time. If you like what we do on YouTube, make sure you guys subscribe and hang out with us every week. Of course, though, we're not just interested in your time and attention. We also like hearing all your thoughts on anything that we talk about during the show, and our question of the week, which is brought to us by Bubba Pudding. This week, our question of the week is, who likes Braunschweig? Is it Braunschweiger?
Braunschweiger.
Yes.
Yeah. See, now you're making me overthink it now because I said it just fine earlier.
Oh,
Braunschweiger.
Braunschweiger. And you could say it any other way you want, really, honestly. But
yeah.
it's good. It's good shit if you've never had it.
It is apparently like a pork and beef liver paste that is, as Green described it, the uncooked insides of a hot dog. So if you like that, sound off in the Twitch chat or let us know in on YouTube if that is something you enjoy.
I want to specify before we get a bunch of comments in the YouTube video about me being inaccurate about Braunschweiger. I said it is like an uncooked hot dog. It's like a paste, beef and pork paste.
No, he said it tastes exactly like the inside of a hot dog, uncooked. Tell him how wrong he is in the comments. Comments are good for the YouTube algorithm, Green.
Hot dogs, yay!
Take one for the team.
Okay. I'm a fragile little bead. Please be careful.
I don't want to agree with Mr. Green because he's shitting on it a little bit, but in a weird way, you could say it's a spreadable hot dog, but it tastes better than a hot dog because it has spices in it.
Very incorrect.
Is it just hot dog butter?
Oh God.
Hot dog butter with spices. All right, come on.
It's not good. I mean, hot dogs are also spiced though. Like hot dogs have spices in them as well.
Yeah. Mendacii, do you have anything to throw in here?
Man, I've had worse things, but like you gotta describe it like a little bit better, like than like spreadable hot dog. Oh God. Like, okay. You know, like the trend of is it cake or is it real? Imagine seeing a hot dog and like you put a hot dog on like a piece of bread and you just take a bread knife and you just squish it out and you just spread it. That's what I imagine this shit, dude. Yeah.
Okay, I will admit it honest to God, it does not look good when you first look at it. It just looks like a bunch of mush. But when you taste it, it's a different story.
Yeah, kind of like a car accident.
Oh my goodness. Well, guys, sound off in the YouTube comments, or you can tweet it at a screen. Where can they tweet at us at?
At next to nothing PC, of course.
Excellent. Well, let's get into our first topic. Right, we haven't talked Apex in a while. In fact, I think the last time we talked Apex, it was when Ash was released. I think Green.
Oh boy.
Check me.
Yeah, I think it was Ash.
I think so. So, yeah, we haven't talked Apex in quite a while, but Bubba, you are an Apex pro, I hear. So,
Careful on the pro.
I mean, you do stream Apex, right?
Yes. I'm a pro in the sense of I play a lot of it.
And
as
you get
for
paid.
How good I am. That's true. That is very true. I'll give you that one.
Damn right it will. Anyways, so yeah, let's talk what's new in Apex. So it's been a while. There's been a couple new characters. I think most notably the most recent character. This is what, season?
Oh, I just had it. This is
13.
13.
Yes, 13. Yep.
Yeah. So introduced with season 13 was a guy named um, Newcastle. So go on ahead, tell us like all the changes that's happened with Apex Season 13 and this new hero or this new legend.
Yeah, so Newcastle is I really want to say this in a weird way, but like he's like a mobile Gibby in a sense. So like he's very shield minded, but he's also very like he's very tactical at the same time. So basically to go down like what he has, so his passive is that is and I've seen it on the video on there a couple times, but his passive is what he's able to do is whenever an enemy is down, he is essentially able to when you're reviving him, he's not the one reviving. He essentially gives the syringe to whoever is down, and then he is able to pull them back into safety with a shield in front of him. So basically, he's not really doing the reviving. He's just trying to drag you out of there. But it's in a sense, he is reviving you though, because he brought you the syringe to revive you. Now, the interesting part of it is it's based around I believe his passive is also part of this too, but his mobile his knockdown shield that you get, whether depending on your color, the blue, purple, whatever it might be, is based around how massive or how strong the shield is in front of the person that is down. Otherwise, that might be something that's with his other stuff, but at least for sure that's what the shield is. So like you can shoot the shield and eventually break it, and then you can proceed to kill them. But that's essentially he's able to do. He's the first person that's able to drag anybody of any sorts. Otherwise, you had to like basically revive them right on the spot. His tactical is it's a mobile shield. So he's able to put down a shield wherever he places it, but then he's also able to move it at the same time. So, but it's not a movable in the sense of he has it on him and then you're able to just move as it is. You actually have to click where you want the shield to go. So when I first tried Newcastle, I didn't like that personally, but I'm also not much of a Gibby run myself. So I guess I'm a little biased when it comes to that. But as for like moving his shield where you have to keep constantly clicking where to put it, I'm not a big fan of that. But some people might be though too, because then you can constantly like if you're in a fight, you can move it as needed and stuff like that. And basically use it in the sense of like how Gibby uses his globe, where you can go in and out of the shield to essentially protect yourself and to trick your opponent, basically. His ultimate is called the Castle Wall, which it's I think it's a little overpowered slightly because then this also goes back down to what I was saying about his I don't want to say it's passive, but part of his ability is whatever his knockdown shield is, that's what is on his castle wall as well. So imagine basically like castle. So you got the big tower in the middle, you've got the wall, and then you've got another set of towers basically. But the middle one is the tallest, and then the ones on the outer edges are a little shorter, probably about half the size as the one in the middle. And then the wall in between them is just tall enough for where you could prone behind it and it will protect you. Now, if you get anywhere near that shield, if you touch it, it's going to stun you and it continuously takes damage. I don't know exactly what the number is of how much damage you take, but basically don't touch this thing. If you touch this thing, you're going to be in trouble. So, but yeah, Newcastle is pretty I'm not going to say overpowered, but they did a really good job with this character of not making him over. The key word is he's not that powerful, but yet again he is. So I don't know if you guys have any other more questions beyond that before I continue on, but
No, I think I mean for like listeners, like what's the design of Newcastle like to you? Like do you like the design overall? Do you like the personality they gave the character? Do you think like it's a good fit for the game?
the lore behind it is pretty crazy too because he's related to Bangalore in a sense. I
Mhm.
haven't looked too much into it of just kind of just basing around what the trailers show, but
It's your
there's some kind of
brother.
a yeah, they're brother and sister basically. So, but no, I'm super biased when it comes to shield operators because I get so agitated with like Gibbies and stuff like that because he's so powerful that you almost need to run him all the time, but you can also find ways around it. I personally don't think that this was a needed character, but it doesn't hurt to have it, as basically. So for people who want to be a little bit more push forward with somebody than being just a Gibby who can just throw his shield down and just kind of sit there. This is more for people who are a Gibby player but that want to keep moving forward in fights. So for me personally, it doesn't do anything for me. For other people, it might do a lot, you know. So that's kind of where I stand with it. So
I think there's a big negative to Newcastle.
I
So,
personally didn't I think we could have went somewhere different with the character, but
my biggest issue with Newcastle is he has made two whole legends completely obsolete.
Mm.
With Gibby as well as Lifeline. Lifeline used to be the healer of the group. Like that's what you picked because you could just hit the shield like a revive and it would pop up a shield and you could use that shield while you're reviving. This essentially takes that OG Lifeline set and puts it
oh
onto a new
yeah.
character for other people to use. Like so they wanted it in the game, but they didn't want Lifeline to have it for some reason. So they took it
That was
away.
I don't get me wrong, that was pretty dirty with what they did with Lifeline with that shield, and I loved it. But yeah, the community absolutely hated it. It was like there was no way around it.
Yeah, they took away the shield and then increased it to she could revive people and walk away at the same time. Uh and two at a time. But like I just don't like the fact that they're introducing new legends and this has been a repeated thing where they're introducing new legends that are just like two legends that are mashed together. Like Seer and Ash are essentially just Bloodhound and Wraith. Like when
Exactly.
do we when do you come out with an original character? Like Mad Maggie was pretty original, kind of useless, but still not still original. Um
That one to me, Mad Maggie, I really didn't see her take off very much. She just kind of got put in the game because of Fuse, because of the
yeah.
lore behind that.
Mhm.
As for her, I mean, is she the one that throws that ball and then she
Yeah.
can run cat? She's the one who does that? I find it
Yeah,
a
and
little
then she
bit
has that
irritating, but you can get around it
yeah,
pretty.
and she has that that almost almost useless Q where it like launches a thermite thing and like goes through walls and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Which like
that's a little annoying. But
it's very go ahead.
the only time I've ever really see that getting used a lot is to finish off down people.
Yeah, it's very situational.
Very much so.
So it like it takes a special type of player to play Mad Maggie. Um versus like I just don't like the concept that they're mashing up two legends to make them obsolete for a new character so people can play that character. It almost feels like a way for them to get the people who play um or who used to play like OG Lifeline and Gibby to buy more skins on a new character.
Mm.
Is almost what it feels like to me.
Well, it
Same
also,
same with Ash and Seer.
yeah, it also feels like just general power creep, right? Where like certain legends just don't become viable because you have let other legends that fulfill two roles. So it's just kind of
Yes.
it's just kind of a general issue of like character based games, anyways, of power creep.
Yeah,
Where
that's kind of where my mind was going. I'll let you finish what you were gonna say, Danny.
oh no, that's I was gonna have you get your mind out, and then we were gonna kind of move on to like changes in the maps and weapons and stuff. But
Perfect. Yeah, like as far as games like this, I'm always brought back to the hundreds of hours that I put into fucking Overwatch that I wish I could get back, but here we are. Overwatch had like 32 playable characters by the time that they ended everything, and there were so many times where someone new would come out and be like, "Man, this is just straight up a better version of X, Y, or Z." We're looking at Apex Legends currently has, I believe, a cast of 21 characters. So you would hope that we're not kind of getting to a point in which we're going to start seeing, like, let's pour a little of this character in with this character and with this character. It's something that I know has been a major issue with games like Warframe, where you'll have a frame come out that's literally just markedly better than three other ones that try to do the exact same thing, but it just ends up doing it better. Um, I don't know enough about the rotation and play of Apex Legends to really know if this is going to cause some sort of great divide as far as who people actually pick. And obviously, as the season continues, like, is it pretty common to see a new legend come out in Apex only to have them get, say, majorly nerfed by mid or late season?
I don't know. I guess it seems like they're always balancing stuff. So
Yeah.
um,
So
they
like one of the reasons why I ask is because one of the things that Blizzard you would usually do with pretty much any IP, whether it's World of Warcraft and you're talking about a specific build or a specific weapon drop from a new dungeon, or if it's Overwatch and you're talking about a new hero, you'll drop it, it'll be fucking awesome. It becomes the meta. It's the everything and anything. It's the answer to any situation or problem that could arise. And then after you play it for a while, you balance it, and all of a sudden it just becomes like, how do I want to put it? Just like mid as fuck. So it starts out cap as fuck, and then it goes mid, and it ends there.
yeah. Any other thoughts on the character lineup of Apex Legends PC? Otherwise, we have some other
One
things.
thing
Yeah, yeah.
One thing that he did made me bring up that I thought about looking up too, and as of May 30, the top 5 picks for characters in the game right now
Hmm.
is Wraith, Octane, Valkyrie, Bloodhound, Pathfinder.
Okay,
So
so that seems like it probably hasn't changed.
you're still looking at like almost, so 3 of them, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. You're still looking at 3 OG characters in there that are still high pick, and then I think even Octane you would almost consider as an OG in there because he came out pretty early. And yeah, Valkyrie is a little bit newer, and I have my
Hmm.
opinions about Valkyrie, but I'll keep them to myself at the moment. But
Well, and
but
they're
yeah,
all.
Newcastle as of May 30, within like what 2 weeks of being in this season, he's number 8.
Hmm. Uh, in that list, almost is all movement based characters, right? Octane, Wraith, Valkyrie, Pathfinder. Who was the other one?
Wraith, Octane, Valkyrie, Bloodhound, Pathfinder. So you've got at least because Pathfinder and Bloodhound are recon. Valkyrie, I think, is also recon. Octane and Wraith are the bullet one. I don't remember what that is. I think
Yeah.
it's attack or something like that. But
Assault.
assault, thank you.
Um, but yeah, I mean, almost all of those are legends with high movement abilities. Valkyrie's got her jetpack or whatever you want to call it. Wraith uh works with uh creating like tunnels and escaping and flanking. Um, Octane is known for being very very quick and you know all about getting some verticality as well as just outrunning everybody. Pathfinder, again, all about getting into different positions. So it seems like the name of the game and the name of the game has always been positioning in Apex, but it still feels like that's where it's at. So maybe Newcastle is a response to that, where players can dig in a little bit more or
Mhm.
move themselves. But let's move on real quick to the map changes. It looks like the main map change is just on Storm Point, where they added this downed beast, which is like a giant ass uh lizard insect monster that's just like beached on the ground that you can now fight on top
Yeah,
of.
and as far as I'm aware, I mean, I don't like Storm Point as enough as it is,
Yeah.
but I haven't really been around that specific area too much for the downed beasts, so I don't necessarily know what you can do over there. But the other thing that they also did add to Storm Point is the new PvE sections on here. I think there's
Mhm.
4 locations,
Yeah.
and they're the IMC armories. And essentially what you can do is you go into the ship and then you hit the button or whatever that's in there, and then the ship closes, and then now you have to fight off specters. And I did it once. I was not expecting it, and oh my, that takes a while. That's not very quick.
Yeah.
So, and when I did it with only 2 people, and we left our third out on accident. So,
Yeah.
but you get a lot of good stuff out of it.
Yeah, were there any other changes to maps? I didn't see anything.
I think World's Edge got a little bit, but nothing that was drastic. Let me see here. I saw it here earlier. Yeah, something about redesigning windows, added some additional cover around the siphon, and something with loot has been tweaked. Otherwise, the map is completely the same.
Yeah. Weapon changes. The Kraber has had its
The
headshot.
Kraber, yeah, the Kraber was probably the biggest change out of that, and I was a little disappointed by that, because I'm a big Kraber guy. But the damage of it was reduced from 145 to 140 now, and the headshot multiplier went down from 3 to 2.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's a 1 down shot anymore in the head anymore. So
L-Star, Devotion, Spitfire, and the Rampage have all had minor nerfs. Not really much worth talking about. The Havoc, Mozambique, and Peacekeeper, and the Mastiff all have had like slight buffs. Looks like the Mastiff is back to being a crate weapon. And then there's gonna be changes to weapon pricing in the arena game mode. Not a ton to like the legends. It looks like Valkyrie got like a real minor nerf, and Rampart got a slight buff. The ranked mode looks like they gave it a nice update or a nice little overhaul. Do you have much experience in that? Do you want to talk about that? Talk about those changes at all?
yeah, and I even have it pulled up here yet even too. I haven't dove too much into ranked because right now it's for people who don't know, in ranked for Apex, so they do the first half and they do the second half. So the first half is so that's basically the half of the season. You start out in one map, which is Storm Point currently, and then yeah, you just work your way up or whatever. And then once the second half comes, I don't know if they change this currently or not, but usually I think they bring you down a tier and a half. I think once the second hits, or the second half of the season hits, essentially. But I'm currently not playing a ton of ranked right now. But basically, what they did is now you can demote. Originally, once you've hit a tier, you no longer demote. So once you go from silver to gold, you cannot go back from gold to silver. That was what it was in the beginning. Now that is completely changed. So now you can go down from you could almost go down from Predator all the way back down to bronze at some point if you somehow manage to do that. But there is a new rookie tier that they added that's lower than bronze for people that are a completely brand new player. So you're not really kind of, I don't know if I would assume not that if you've already played the game, it would put you in that situation. But I think that was more of trying to help new players get into ranked, so you're not getting forced into situations where once the new season starts, you're playing with people that are, I don't really even know specifically how it works with some rank stuff, but you're not getting basically played with plat players that are considered bronze pretty much. So I think it's a way of being able to help. The kill RP cap was removed, and the entry costs also change. For Masters Predators, entry costs increase with total RP. So 5 RP for every 1,000 RP. So yeah, but it's really based around teamwork now instead of just kills, pretty much. And it's not easy. They made it a lot harder to rank up.
Interesting, which will hopefully keep it more competitive and a little bit cleaner. Maybe not so many is there like an issue of like people throwing in competitive?
Not necessarily throwing, if anything, but a lot of people are bailing on their teammates, basically. So like once you go down, they're out. Like they don't even make any kind of an attempt to save you. If you're playing with randoms, I should say. But yeah, you go down, they leave you because without you, they can still keep moving and get more RP. So as and for your teammate, because that's the one thing that sucks in ranked is you cannot leave until your respawn timer is completely out. So once you've been timed out, then you can leave the game. But any time frame from that, you will if you leave, you're gonna get like a ban of some sort or like a time frame of how long it'll so you basically can play again, basically.
Yeah.
So or some kind of demotion, I think, or whatever it is.
Okay. Um. Yeah. Is there any other? Overall, are you happy as a frequent as an Apex player? Are you pretty happy with these changes?
Um the ranked one I think is going to be a little difficult. I can't really give it a full opinion on it just because I haven't dove too much into it. But I have as in for the new season, I have no problem with it whatsoever. But as for like other stuff within the game, like Valkyrie and Stormpoint, those are the things that are kind of that's what irks me when I'm playing the game because Valkyrie was a player that didn't need to be in the game. I will say it. And Mr. Green can attest to it or not, but she should have never been in the game.
I mean, she's eh. I'm very indifferent about Valkyrie. I mean, like the biggest thing for her is just she can eat out. But we have
I
plenty of legends that can eat out.
right.
Um. Cool. Any other thoughts, opinions on the current state of Apex?
The big thing right now is if they're gonna ever fix Bangalore's smoke situation, because that's kind of been a pain in the ass for some people. But the big thing there is when you're in Bangalore's smoke, she can see people better than you can see her. So in a situation where she can basically mow you down if you go in her smoke.
Gotcha.
And there was even a glitch in there too, where players, if you went into her smoke and were shooting people outside of the smoke, you actually got a little bit of an aim assist, and they just fixed that.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's actually pretty intense.
I think Bangalore definitely needs a rework, in my opinion.
Yeah. Mendacii, any thoughts, opinions you wanted to share?
Sounds pretty standard play for the course, man. Big ass game's gonna get bigger and hopefully better. And with adding more characters comes more balancing. It's really nice to hear that they just kind of keep adding these really cool things to these different maps. Really changes the rate of play. That was something that always kind of bugged me about Overwatch is like you just fall into such a rhythm when you see a map and like when you hit a loading screen, you're like, all right, I already know exactly what I'm gonna do. I know exactly what the other team's gonna do. I've played this match 36 times this week, and I'll probably play it another 36 times next week. It's something that all games vastly need if they're going to continue to have a thriving community. So it's really cool to see that Respawn can continue to live with Apex and still kind of bring in the Titanfall aspects without us being able to enjoy Titanfall anymore. So I'll take it where I can get it.
Yeah. Do we want to talk about the Apex mobile app?
I've got some words about it. But
Yeah.
before we do move on to that, I do have one question for just literally anybody.
Yeah.
Um, did Overwatch ever do a pick and ban?
Yes.
Do you think Apex needs to go that route eventually?
I think that honestly, as a battle royale, how many teams can go into the battle royale in Apex Legends?
Well, isn't it
I think
100
it's
players per the server?
so yeah. So then it's no, I don't think that is. I think it's 50 squads.
50 squads, 50
Okay.
squads of 3.
Is it 50 or is it 25? I think it's 25
So
squads because it's
I
50
thought it
people.
was yeah.
20 teams of 3
20.
players.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's 20.
It's 20. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
20
then
teams
20.
of 3 players. I would
Yes.
say at this rate, with that amount of numbers, there's no need for a pick and ban because when you have that big of a pool, every single person should find something that is the antithesis of the character that they're playing. In Overwatch, where you had like one team of blank and one team of blank,
Right.
uh, you know, like it's one of those things where it's like, hey man, we all know that this character is really bad on this map. Like if say you're playing anything that's literally not Route 66, you're going to be like, I don't want to see a fucking May here because you guys are going to grief with ice walls and it just won't be fun. So like that shit kind of makes sense, and it can really grind a game out where a game could say like a best 2 out of 3 or 3 out of 5 depending on what you're playing, um, could really be like pushed out to last like 35, 40 fucking minutes. And it was decided the first time that you guys all got in and saw what the other team picked. So yeah, like that stuff right there, like that's needed for those kinds of games that are going to be like smaller teams. But I would say that as far as this goes, while it would probably help people from like getting really salty or really fed up with say like getting killed by the same combination of character and gun format, it's one of those things where it's like, man, push on and find the antithesis to that character, to that grouping, and push back. The only thing is, like, maybe that's not exactly how you want to play because you enjoy a different character and a different gun. But I feel like that's kind of the nature of the beast. If you want to get more RP, then you're gonna have to play tactically and less, you know, like for funsies, and that's why people get sweaty. That's just the nature of it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, let's move on to Apex Mobile. So yeah, Apex Legends has finally made its way onto the mobile market. Right now, it's available for iOS and Android. I actually did check; it's not available on Chromebooks. But I am pretty sure you can access it on emulators if you want to play it on PC. In fact, Mendacii, I'm going to give you some homework real quick. Can you look up Apex Legends mobile on PC? And I bet you there's an article explaining how you can do it.
Sure.
So both Bubba and I have talked about or have played it. So let's just talk about the experience. I played personally on my iPhone X without a controller, which is I would say is probably not the most optimal way to play the game. Bubba, how'd you play it?
I did not play with controller. I'm not the smartest with how to connect it to my phone, but no, I just played it on the screen.
Uh, what? How large of a screen do you have?
I have the iPhone 13 Pro, so it's not necessarily the biggest, but I mean it was enough to play it.
Yeah.
But I did play it because I had a second phone when I worked at AT&T, and that's a bigger phone. That's a
Mhm.
Samsung 21 Ultra, and the bigger screen was a lot nicer.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah. A lot of these like mobile first person shooters just don't feel good on like average screens unless you have a controller, it seems like, but I don't know. I have to find a mobile controller to see if I really do like a game more that way or not.
You can
That would
you
it would
can
make it
literally
easier.
get an Xbox controller.
Yeah.
Literally, an Xbox controller will connect to your phone.
For iPhone,
I'll have to try that.
I'll have to see. Yeah.
It should, yeah, because I was using Geforce. I was trying to find a good connection for a controller, and because I was using my PS4, the PS4 controllers are very laggy
Yeah.
unless you have them hardwired in.
Gotcha. Um, but yeah, so the game itself is honestly not all that different from the experience that you would be getting on like console or PC, right? In terms of how it actually works, right? The game, you drop into the map, you fight for gear, and you try to take home the W by being the last team standing. Right? That's Apex. You know, that's every battle royale. Mendacii, real quick, did you find an article at all?
Yeah, didn't have to find an article. Basically, all I did was search to see if it was available on BlueStacks. BlueStacks is typically what a lot of streamers or people that want to play Android and Apple games that are on phone on PC. One of the bigger ones being Teppen. It is available on BlueStacks. It's currently got a user rating of 4.5 out of 5. That's 491,226 votes. So it seems that a lot of people have actually gone to grab Apex Legends on BlueStacks. If you actually go and Google that, it's straight on there.
Yeah.
And if you ever want to play a cell phone game on your PC, I would highly recommend BlueStacks. But it looks like they grabbed mobile 7 days ago. I'm not sure when this dropped.
Gotcha. I think it dropped like a week ago, 2 weeks ago.
I think roughly 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, so it didn't take too long.
one thing I will note is that, and you can see it on the screen right now, there is actually a third-person point of view available in this game as like a regular thing. I don't think on PC and console they ever really added third-person regularly.
PC
Yeah,
they
that
did
mode.
they had a time frame where they did do it for a little while, but it did not last very long.
Gotcha. Um. Yeah, there are currently 9 legends in the game: Bangalore, Bloodhound, Caustic, Gibraltar, Lifeline, Mirage, Octane, Pathfinder, Wraith, and a mobile first legend named Fade. Fade's abilities, real quick, I can get it here. His tactical is called Flashback, and it's where you go back to where you were for like, let's see. Over the course of 2 seconds, you go back to where you was 20 seconds ago. And it can be canceled at any point in time with the rewind, and then you regenerate all shield and health lost in those 20 seconds. His passive is called Slipstream, and it's just you get a short movement burst after you slide. And then his ultimate is called Phase Chamber. You throw an explosive with a radius of 30 meters, which deals 10 damage. After 2 seconds, all players inside that radius are phased for 4 seconds. Enemies that get phased are highlighted for the player, and allies that get phased are able to move at normal speeds but are unable to use their abilities, weapons, and grenades. So it looks like there's a little bit of a cost of using it near your allies as well. And like I said, that is a mobile first. So it looks like they're going to be kind of running the games a little bit parallel. They said there seems to be, I'm sorry, this is from the devs. Playing on our phones is a little bit different than playing on console or a PC. Having mobile legends is important for us because it allows us to create stuff that's unique to our players and really highlights how they engage with the game that might be different. Bubba, do you have any thoughts on this at all? I never got my hands on the new character. I only played.
I never did either, but it's funny how we were talking about, being able to create characters with, where it's unique and they're different from other legends, and then they did it on mobile, but they didn't do it on PC. So I just thought that was kind of funny, but
Yeah,
because really he's nothing like any other legend. This is a brand new legend.
I guess I was reading it and I'm like, oh, that sounds a lot like Wraith, except for like his ability, his ultimate isn't anything like Wraith, but like his well, I guess the closest the closest
flashback would be the closest thing.
Yeah, the flashback. He almost sounds like Tracer from Overwatch.
Yeah. Almost 100% actually.
Yeah. Yeah, so the game itself plays a lot like other mobile FPSs. Which is, at least in my opinion, to say kind of clunky. You have 2 virtual joysticks that you operate with your thumbs, that you use to move and aim with. You also have a fire button that is above right around the right side. You also have an aim button that's right over there too. There is an option for like an auto fire. And you have buttons over on the right side to crouch, use your ultimate, and your tactical and stuff.
It is very customizable as well too. So even what it's showing on the video right now, where all the buttons are, they can be moved.
Yeah.
You can go into the settings and move them however you need to with your screen. So, because for me, all of the stuff on the right side where it was like hip fire, aim down fire, and then all that stuff, I had to move that slightly up more so that my thumb had more room, because I found myself hitting those buttons when I'm just trying to move around, where I was just kind of randomly firing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. How did you feel about the just general controller scheme and like how it like interacted with being on mobile?
Surprisingly enough, I personally don't play a lot of mobile games, so this was kind of a first for me. I mean, obviously, aside from your, back in the day when Candy Crush and stuff like that, but as for an FPS, this was really the first time I've ever really played it, and surprisingly enough, I actually really enjoyed it. Now, don't get me wrong, my I don't know about your iPhone did, but my iPhone was getting very, very warm with it.
Mhm.
So I did have to turn the graphics down, but even with me turning the graphics down, it did get still very warm. Not hot to touch, but it was definitely getting within the danger zone, and I don't know how much longer I wanna do this on my phone. But my 21 Ultra did very well. It
Yeah.
stayed cool. It did get warm, but I mean, nothing to where it would made me feel like I need to stop playing.
Yeah.
So, I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but I felt like the Samsung held its own with the game better than the iPhone did.
Mhm. Yeah, no, mine didn't ever get like that hot. I also have an older iPhone, so I don't know if it was just automatically throttling a lot of like the graphics and stuff, just knowing that it's an iPhone X and not,
Right.
a newer phone.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. I found myself accidentally firing a lot.
Yeah,
Um,
for sure.
I had like that issue. I also just had like the issue of like feeling like I didn't have enough screen real estate to like actually like be able to understand a lot of the things I was looking at. Like um picking up items, like you can automatically pick up certain items. Like if you have like a gun that takes light ammo, like you can like walk over it and it'll pick it up. Um but like going like to death boxes and like trying to like look through death boxes like was a bit of a pain and like sorting
Yeah,
through the
the
stuff that was
buttons
in
are
there.
very small.
Um so that was like the issue that I had like going through it. I'm just like, wow, I can't like control these like and like select the things that I need. Um but otherwise like I didn't think it was like a bad experience. It was just it's just a mobile port.
Mhm.
um and I don't know. First person shooters again, I need to find like a game controller that I can use on my phone and like I don't know if you guys have suggestions, let us know. Like let us know in like the comments on YouTube or in Twitch for like mobile like game controllers cuz I'd love to know. I'd love to like review one at some point. Um but yeah, I overall I don't think the game plays like out of like the realm of expectations. I think when you play Apex, you know, and then you like play it on the phone, you're getting more or less the same experience. I don't think you're really missing out on anything if you don't play this version of Apex though. What do you think, Bubba? Do you think anyone's missing out if they don't play this?
No, honestly, the only thing is obviously is the new character. That's really the only thing you're missing out on. But don't get me wrong though, this is a really good option for some people who obviously can't afford a PC or stuff that they can't afford a console. But usually most people do. Most people do have phones, obviously not everybody, but this
Mhm.
is a really good reach for Respawn to basically reach out to other people who can't play this game
Yeah.
with consoles or PC. So
Yeah. I will say I am a little sad that you can't get it on Chromebook though. Because that was actually one of the first things I pulled up my Chromebook and like looked it up on the Google Play Store for Chromebook, and I was kind of hoping it was going to be there because I know there's been rumors for a while that like there's going to be like a gaming Chromebook systems starting to pop up. Um, for the different mobile games and stuff like that would be nice to see like this was going to be like available, but can't always get what we want, and hopefully at some point they'll actually add it to the Chromebook side. I wonder if it was like just an issue of like uh we can't have all these we can't actively have keyboard and mouse players against other mobile players because it's not crossplay at all. It is all on
no,
its
oh
own.
god, no.
So it could be that. I know that's like an issue in some games that are crossplay where keyboard and mouse players do absolutely like wreck shit. Um
The
Green.
one
Oh,
interesting
go ahead.
thing too that they do in this game, Obviously you can't wear headphones and stuff like that. So they do actually have indicators on there, and they're very small on the video too, where actually it will show you a footprint if someone is coming near you, or it will show bullets if somebody is firing near you too. So I mean, it does give you a lot of help when you're playing the game because, you could put headphones in, but for people that don't use headphones, it at least gives you a little bit of an indicator where people are.
Yeah. Green, did you have any thoughts, opinions you wanted to share? I know you haven't played the game, but anything that you wanted to add from the gameplay or from the conversation that you've heard?
Not really. I mean, it does look like it's interesting. I mean, it's almost a carbon copy of a PUBG mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Just with Apex. So like, not a bad thing. Just good for people who want to try FPS games on their mobile.
Yeah.
Especially for a free to play game.
Mendacii, any thoughts, opinions you want to share?
Yeah, I mean, like, I feel like everything that you and Bubba both hit are really fantastic. I can see in the future because this game is not necessarily something I can see that will exist for a long period of time on mobile, or like if it does, it's not going to have that much of a player base. There's two reasons for that. One, it just simply is not a game that's really meant to be played on mobile, either from the phones themselves wanting to cook and fry up dinner while playing the game, or two, when you could, I'm not sure exactly how many people are familiar with BlueStacks, but BlueStacks allows you to change the entire interface of pretty much any cell phone game that you're doing to remap all of your controls. It would typically be touch to playing on your keyboard. So you could effectively play this version of Apex Legends on your computer. And the instances that you actually go into, I mean, like you're talking about 6 times faster speeds than going on, say, like 4G or 5G. You're going to be playing against cell phone users that are likely not using BlueStacks. Uh, if you do decide that you're going to take a look at this, I think there's some sort of policy against BlueStacks because it is technically an emulator. So keep that in mind if you are a content creator out there and you do want to maybe like check this out, but you're like, I don't want to fucking play on my phone, and streaming from your phone's already cumbersome enough. Just look into it, think carefully. But as soon as you start throwing unique characters on there, especially ones that, as Bubba had put it, are very unique to the fact that they just don't really have a character that's already an answer to a problem that's either been put in front or an idea that's been put ahead of it. So someone like Fade being only accessible on mobile, I can see some people being like, all right, so like either treat these games the same, which is impossible, but that is exactly what people will call for, is treat them the same, release the same content for both. You can't do this, blah, blah, blah. So it's going to be interesting to see what the life of Apex Legends on mobile is going to be like. Or if we're gonna start seeing some articles about people being like, why BlueStacks is the cancer to mobile gaming. We'll see.
Yeah. Any other thoughts, or do we want to go to a quick break?
My last thing too to add on to that as well too, and you make a really good point on that too. Um, Two thoughts for me, and then one is maybe this is possible that this is Respawn's way of making their test dummy to see how players do with. Now, obviously, yeah, it doesn't really give you much to work with because these are not PC players, but maybe this is a way for people to test out how Fade does within the mobile, and then this is their way of moving Fade eventually to PC. I don't know for sure, but when you
Mm.
bring up BlueStags about that too, that makes me do worry for mobile a little bit because there is a ranking system on mobile. So, that probably tells me why people went crazy to download it right away, because ranked was available right away. So for people to just jump on that, you could potentially hit pred within a week of playing on BlueStacks. So that to me would worry me a little bit.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. I would say that again, I'm not entirely sure how many people really know about BlueStacks, but like the ones that do, they're probably fucking mopping.
Well,
They're
yeah,
probably mopping.
even for me alone, I was playing the game. I picked it up right away and I figured out how the controls work. And I just for me alone using the screen by itself, I was averaging 15, 20 kills a game.
Ooh.
So I was, it's now put that in perspective of somebody who's on BlueStacks on a controller or on a keyboard. Like they're probably going to be killing the whole lobby.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I know that's a problem that like was in COD Mobile when people started like running their emulators in COD Mobile. I remember watching the Anthony CSN video when he did that, and he was just like dominating the lobby. But let's go ahead and take a break, and we'll be right back with some PlayStation news and some graphics card news. We'll be right back, guys.
Ooh.
Hello, Danny is being lazy and has decided to have a text-to-speech robot record this message for you instead of doing it himself. He wants you to know that you can help support the show by telling your friends. Telling your friends about the show helps us grow and help more people save money while gaming. It's also free. You can tweet about us, share us on Facebook, or even send a message directly to your friends and family with a link to the show. Don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube or leave a comment. That helps tell the algorithm that you like this kind of content and would recommend it. Thanks for watching and listening. The show will resume in just a few moments. PS Green Elite has bad taste in Pokemon.
And we're back. And we are back. Guys, thank you for letting us take that break. Mendacii, we got some PlayStation news. Why don't you tell us all about it?
I would love to. All right. So we've all made the jokes. PS5 doesn't exist. It's a unicorn. It's my missing father. It's Bigfoot. It's the reason I don't sleep at night. All things intangible. But it would seem that Sony would love to actually create the PS5 and sell it to people now. You heard it right. The PS5 is finally releasing. All the joking aside, Sony has gone on record to say that this year their target goal for production is 18 million units. Coming from a Reuters report, CEO Jim Ryan has claimed a 57% increase in overall production from the previous year. Now, that problem with their supply chain seems to be getting closer to a state of normalcy. Meanwhile, China has begun to shut down some of its cities as COVID-19 cases have started to increase. Market analysts have speculated that this could cause some major supply issues, not just for Sony, but worldwide manufacturers as well. On the other hand, Sony has made remarks that its own supply lines have been improving steadily despite these various developments. Alongside this news, Sony has announced a state of play that will air this Thursday, June 2nd. Apparently, we can expect some new titles, some new trailers for previously announced games, and some news on the PSVR 2, which I know we're all just so ready for. I'll likely be covering that next week, so be sure to come back and catch our take on that next Tuesday.
Yeah, the state of play is it Thursday? I think it's the
Yeah,
2nd,
Thursday,
right?
June
Yeah.
2nd. Yeah.
Yeah, so June 2nd, there's a new state of play. And there's been a lot of buzz around this one, actually.
Yeah, apparently it's supposed to be a little bit more interesting than the one that we got to talk and cover with Mr. Dookie Vision. Well, D Vision Media. Yeah, apparently we're supposed to see some things that are more in line with like titles that might actually get us excited. Who
Yeah.
knows? Last one was pretty flat and didn't really have anything that was super tantalizing. So I mean, here's hoping. Even though they're gonna show PSVR 2, and it's probably gonna just be another like intangible, goofy thing that only some people are gonna be able to invest in, have the room for, and be willing to try. Though you gotta admire the conviction to continue trying to be a VR system.
Yeah. Bubba, do you have any thoughts on the PlayStation news?
I mean, I'm definitely okay with it because I'm gonna have to get one here eventually too for the new God of War game that's gonna be coming out that I'm excited for. But aren't they gonna be halting something for the PS4 here in like 2 or 3 years?
Yes, games will cease to come out for the PS4. I've seen two different years tossed around. The first article that I read said by 2025 they would stop releasing new titles on the PS4. I'm seeing articles as new as, say, like just yesterday saying 2024. Regardless, anywhere between 2 and 3 years is like clock is ticking. It might be time to start trying to get on board with that. But keep in mind, and I'm looking at prices right now, a digital edition, brand new at Walmart, $749.99, and a new console disc version, $809. Now, I haven't gone into these to see if they're actually sold by Walmart or if it's off their marketplace through third-party sellers. But regardless, that's a huge chunk of change, and the economy right now, my friends, must I say it, is not in a good place. So to try and throw, 800 plus tax at a game system that is absolutely a luxury, it's going to be really rough and hard for a lot of people to do, regardless of how many are out there.
Yeah. Well, and one thing in terms of like the lifespan of the PS4, it's much too long in the tooth simply for and it's only existed that way simply for the fact that Sony hasn't been able to get PlayStations out to people.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's been a big part. I would have suspected by 2023 they would have discontinued games for it.
Right.
But I think because the situation in terms of supply, getting it to customers, that there hasn't, like, they couldn't make that jump yet.
It's
Yeah.
crazy to think about too, because like the average lifespan of a console, especially PlayStation, is 8 years.
Yeah.
In the PlayStation 5 came out in 2020. That's 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And they're thinking that their stocks are not going to be, they're going to be completely fluid in 2024, which is nuts. That's half the lifespan of this console that like people can barely get their hands on.
Yeah.
And once they can get their hands on it, they're already R&D and for the PlayStation 6, the Xbox Series X7 Plus, whatever.
It feels
the
very
Xbox
Nintendo.
Platinum.
Yeah. I say the Xbox XCs.
XEs.
XCs. They're just gonna start stacking Xbox Series X's on top of each other.
Didn't Microsoft come out already saying though that this was the last console?
I don't know.
I don't know about that. But yeah,
I'd have to check on that again, but
Well, there has been rumors of a Xbox streaming stick.
oh yeah, the dongle.
The dongle. Yeah, there's been, I know, or was it actually confirmed that they're in development? Let me double check.
Also, to go off of what Bubba just said, this is a rumor that has been going on since late 2020. It hasn't been declared, but I mean, like, there are rumors saying that this could very well be the last console generation, but I'm wondering if that's maybe just speculation in going towards, like, we're gonna just fucking make ready to use computers, because we're getting very close to that. And doing consoles this way and trying to keep up in line with the PC gaming market, you're starting to not be able to keep up with that as far as a margins, like cost margins and everything like that. It's really hard to think that they might actually be making more money on the selling of these systems than they are, say, creating them. Which would actually kind of drive the question: is this another reason why, say, Sony Interactive Entertainment and Microsoft are actually going on these acquisition buyout crazes? Are they trying to comp some of the cost of the insane cost that it has to be to open up these supply lines, to get these kind of pieces that they need to create more systems and sell them at likely below, the cost value, trying to make that up in DLC
Well,
through games that are coming out in other markets.
they've never really sold gaming systems at a high margin. They've never really made huge profit on it because they want you in their walled garden. The way that Xbox and Sony, I'm sorry, Microsoft and Sony have always really made their money is by licensing the ability to play a certain game, or to license like the like back in the day when it was like just discs, like it was licensing the option to be on that platform. um or as digital markets came out, it was like taking a cut from the stores and selling the
Right.
services of like being inside the walled garden, and like taking charging a fee for access to their servers and stuff like that. That's how they've always made their money. And now,
Hmm.
I mean, it would make sense like they would start going in the direction of like these streaming services, because we don't have to create these fucking consoles and try to keep up with PCs, and all we have to do is offer these walled garden services that people are going to be stuck in, because as soon as they start sinking money into it, they're going to have that sunk cost fallacy where they don't want to leave.
Hmm.
That's how they're going to be making their money in the future, I think. And it makes sense where they're like, where like a Microsoft would probably be like, yeah, no, this is like the last one. Everything is just going to start being our streaming boxes. And the only updates that we're going to have to do is to make sure that these streaming boxes or these streaming dongles can match the resolution that we want it to be at, and can maybe like update or upgrade its networking capabilities so that it can take in streaming faster. Whether consumers are going to want that or not, based on the fact that streaming services take up a lot of bandwidth and a lot of people don't have that access yet, is to be determined.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It also raises like a number of other concerning questions. I think that the better way to have put and in a more concise fashion is how much money exactly is Microsoft and Sony losing out on their game systems right now, because of all these changes and trying to meet demand. It Sony is in a state that reminds me very much of when I was younger and trying to get my hands on a Wii for like, the whopping price of $250. And I'm looking at when PS3 actually initially released. I'm looking at a 20 gigabyte model and a 60 gigabyte model, 20 being $499, $599 for the 60, and they could not sell them at all. At one point, I can't even remember who was on stage, but there was a rock band that in the middle of their set, they were taking a break and they had like a Sony executive come on stage trying to not give away a PS3. He was trying to give people an opportunity to buy the PS3 that he was holding up in his hands on the stage. So not new in box, nothing like that. And people are like, "Are you gonna give it to us?" And he's like, "You can buy it for $600." It like, if you want to go down a rabbit hole that's pretty goofy in comparison to where we are now, they were like, "Oh yeah, we're like outselling Microsoft and doing super well." When in reality, market numbers showed Microsoft was selling 2 to 1 in a ratio against Sony. And it's probably even worse right now because there are Xboxes to buy, question mark. But yeah, it's really interesting to see where this is developing and to kind of go off of what you said. We've talked about this in the past, where when you're buying a digital game, you're not buying the rights of the game, you're buying like license for access to that digital content. And so it's like when we're taking away a person or a hobbyist or a gamer, if you will, their right to a physical piece of media that you can slap into anything that will read that disc and play it because you own it, things start to get a little scary. And it's building castles on sand, dude. It's something I have a hard time thinking could possibly be the future of where we're supposed to be.
Yeah. Green, any thoughts that you wanted to share?
No, I've said my piece.
Bubba, any thoughts you wanted to share?
No, that's pretty much it.
Cool. Guys, let us know what you think in the comments down below on YouTube, or you guys can tweet at us what you think about this bit of PlayStation news and what could be happening in the future. Let's go on now. Green, is there light at the end of the tunnel?
Possibly? Question mark. Maybe. NVIDIA is making some news and some waves this week as news hits about the 4070 GPU, as well as the company's prediction that GPU prices will soon crash. I'm going to start with the newly leaked Geforce Rtx 4070. The estimated MSRP will be right around the $500 US dollar mark, with 4th gen Tensor and 3rd gen RT cores, 50% more L1 cache, twice as much L2 cache, and 25% more cores than the 3070. Official launch announcement is estimated for mid-July, with a possible third quarter launch date. And that also comes with the 4080 and 4090 that they're believed that they are going to be announcing as well. So we got new card announcements before we could even get the 30 series cards for most people. However, NVIDIA has recently had their first quarter earnings call, with a nice increase of 31% in a year-to-year revenue. So last quarterly quarter one earnings call to this one, they made 31% more. But stocks dropped after this news. Then NVIDIA estimates a decrease, in the Q2 earnings with the market crash of GPUs. So they are estimating that the GPUs will be coming down and by a lot in price. We might actually see MSRP. This is expected to decrease due to crypto mining, pretty much exclusively. The upcoming release of Ethereum 2.0 standards that will actually decrease the GPU demand on mining rigs. So it won't take as much processing to run Ethereum mining, which will actually decrease the demand for 30 series cards in the mining market. And I believe NVIDIA has also stated that they can't really stop people from using that, not overlooking that hash rate limiter. So yeah,
I was just gonna make a joke about that that it's been officially cracked. So when we first talked about that story in February 2021, now about a year and a half ish later, rough year and a half ish later, it's been entirely cracked, and you can just do with your cards as you wish.
So I think NVIDIA is now at the point where they're like, fuck it, and then with the Ethereum mining change, stock is actually going to be more readily available for people like you and me. So we may, I think this is great, in my opinion, that they're changing Ethereum. I mean, boohoo on NVIDIA for making less money next quarter. Oh boy, they're billions of dollars, heaven forbid. But that will also mean that the demand isn't so high, so the surplus of cards that they have been racing to build that come out like in the box, or they're already on their way shipping, are actually going to decrease in price. So hopefully that will mean that stock at the box stores and will increase, and we won't have to fight scalpers who are trying to make a nice big profit online for a new card, especially for people who genuinely need a new card but cannot afford to spend $400 extra off of what the card is actually supposed to cost. So big news, something to keep an eye out for, especially if what they are predicting to be true will come true. then hopefully we can get the 30 series cards. I think that was the biggest pull for the 30 series cards, was there were a massive increase in performance versus the 20 series cards, but at more reasonable pricing. So the performance per price was worth it to go to 30 series cards, but no one could get their, well, a lot of people could get their hands on it if they paid a lot more or they used a bot.
Yeah. I don't have a lot to say on this. We kind of just stopped talking about the GPU market simply because it was so depressing and nothing really changed. And so it's nice to see like there are changes coming, hopefully. And that's really all I've got to say.
Yeah, because I'd love to get my hands on like a 3060 or a 3070 at MSRP. Just for like the streaming PC, let alone like my game PC. Like I'm still on the 2080 Super, and that is like getting absolutely pummeled by the 3060 in
Yeah.
terms of performance. So
Bubba, any thoughts, opinions?
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% down, especially if that does end up happening. I'm surprised you guys can't hear my i7 in my streaming computer just screaming in pain because there's no GPU in it. So yeah, that'll be really nice. So I'm looking to if that does happen, I will be looking out for a 30 series as well, because that's been on my list of things that needs to be upgraded, and I just like you guys, I don't want to pay $1,000 for it, and just it's not worth it to that point. So my 1060 is just 1060 just needs to, I don't want to say go anywhere, but just definitely needs a break. So my
it's getting
my
real
other
dark.
my i7
real
will be
dark.
celebrating when that day happens.
Yeah. My biggest thing now at this point is, do we wait for the 40 series cards later this year and hopefully nab those, or do we jump on the first chance we can get for getting a 30 series card at MSRP? That's the biggest thing that we got to keep an eye out for.
Yeah. Mendacii, any opinions?
Yeah, I mean, hopefully this does indeed like saturate the market in the best way, allowing us consumers to have those choices. And if we are met with choices, that means that some sellers might actually go as far as, dare I say, giving discounts as well as having normal prices for cards. And then I could get out from under my rock, which I am between both Bubba and Danny, in that I am using a borrowed card, the GTX 1080. So it's one of those things where it's like, I mean, does it need to be upgraded? Not necessarily, but does it belong to me? No. So like if I had the option to actually get something that would be comparable or better, absolutely let me do that. It's insane that this market has been like this for so long, and we're just starting to see like positive rumors, optimistic insight. I'd like to see some concrete things.
Yeah. Yeah, I would love to give Greenlead his card back at some point here shortly. So
Someday.
someday.
It's okay. You can hold on to it. I'm not in a hurry.
Is there
It's only.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say it's only going into an indie build PC.
Yeah.
So, or actually, no, it will have to go back into my stream PC because I need to give you your card back.
Yeah. My at this point almost 10-year-old card.
It's doing its job. I mean, it is displaying picture on two screens quite well.
It is.
It also records for me, which is great.
Yeah.
That's it. Like it literally handles recording and putting pictures on screen. Like not even fancy pictures, not graphically intense pictures, just Discord, OBS.
Yep.
That's it. Ta-da!
Yeah. So if there's nothing else, guys, I think it's time to wrap up the show. What do you guys think?
Brunschweiger is really good.
So
Yeah, gotta go
it's-
find me
it's-
some spreadable hot dog.
It's actually
Well,
quite disgusting. It's got
Is
this
it
like
cake or
weird.
Brunschweiger?
It's
You
a cake.
decide.
I mean,
Anything
it's like
can be cake.
It's like a soft meat cake. You know, like it I don't Brunschweiger. Like I've been scarred since childhood because my mom like would buy Brunschweiger and she'd make sandwiches of Brunschweiger, like cold Brunschweiger. Mind you, you spread this cold meat paste on bread, okay, or crackers or whatever. It has this like tinge taste to it that
Can you
like
pull up the
assaults your
picture, Danny,
fucking
or no?
sinus.
so
Throw the picture on the screen.
Bubba, what do you got going on?
Oh man, just streaming like normal. My usual schedule is Tuesdays and Thursdays. Usually I try to start around 6 is usually what I try to. But usually that doesn't always happen. But this week's a little bit different, obviously with the podcast and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to stream tomorrow, if not for sure Thursday. But yeah, and then we also record our podcast every Monday. It's not live; we just record it, and then our the guy who owns it edits it that night, and then it usually gets posted that night. So it's not live or anything, but just gets posted, and it's on every platform you can look at. Spotify, it's on actual Anchor, but it gets posted to everything. So
What's the name of it again?
Metro Machines Podcast. It is also the link is also on my channel as well.
Really, what do you got coming on?
I will be playing Star Citizen and Hunt and Showdown. I have become addicted to Star Citizen ever since I talked about it a couple weeks ago. I've made mistakes in this game, and I've bought millions of dollars in drug products, some illegal paraphernalia that I cannot sell, except for like a little bit at a time. So yeah, Star Citizen is going great. It's awesome. It's fun. And yeah, it's all the shenaniganry is caught on Twitch, twitch.tv/Mr. Elite. I'm also working on some YouTube content and TikTok content, so make sure you check that out at both of those websites respectively, Mr. Green Elite.
Mendacii, what do you got going on?
I got Shenanarchy, I got Malarganigans going on as well. We recorded an episode on Goodfellas last week as a solemn goodbye to Mr. Ray Liotta. This week we are going to record something a lot more. I mean, last episode was pretty lighthearted. This one's going to be even more lighthearted. It's going to be goofy as shit. So that's going to get recorded Thursday for podcast for 2 people, and that will get put out probably this week yet as well. On my channel, I'll be starting a playthrough of the JRPG Tales of Arise. So if you like weeaboo bullshit, I got that in spades. And on top of that, let's see here. Tons and tons and tons of Monster Hunter, and probably some Hunt Shutdown with the boys. So if you want to see what I'm actually going to get up to between those days and so on and so forth, you can catch me on Twitter at @onlymendacii. And of course, holla at me on literally anything. I would love it if you just told me that you enjoyed one thing that I said ever in my entire life. That'd make my day.
Excellent. Coming up on my channel, I should be streaming Thursday night and on Friday night, possibly Saturday night. My girlfriend is going on a trip she's like making her way back to her home state on Thursday, so I should have plenty of time over the next little bit to stream, but I also have a lot of stuff to do around the house. So yeah, if you guys want to keep up with my schedule, follow me on Twitter at DannyK, DANIECAE. Also check out the second YouTube channel, Danny K highlights and streams. And I'll have videos of all sorts of like indie gameplay up on there. And also look for the reviews. I usually try to coincide the release of those videos with reviews here on the show. So yeah, look forward to that. Green, we do have a giveaway that we did last week. You want to announce our winner?
No,
Please.
I forgot to post it.
Oh, did you?
Womp womp womp.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I forgot to post it. I genuinely forgot to post it.
Womp womp. Well, guys,
We will do it this week.
We're gonna do it this week. Yeah. So follow us
Put on your giveaway hats because we're gonna be doing a giveaway on Gleam.
Yeah.
Make sure you check it out on Twitter at Next to Nothing PC. I'll post it tonight. Actually, you know why? Because I fucked up and I'm sorry. I apologize. I love you all. I'm sorry.
And the best part is he's gonna eat some brunch swagger since he messed up.
Oh, nuts. You can't pay me to eat that shit.
All right, guys.
I'll say it. That shit sucks.
You know, I turned 30 on Saturday. I don't need a cake. I could just.
You need some brunch swagger.
I don't even know where you would get that. Anyway,
Just go to Fairway.
Sell.
Go to Fairway and get a
Fairway will
tube.
have it.
Yeah, get a tube of brunch swagger, stick a fucking candle in it. Ta-da! Cake. Hot dog cake.
Guys, that's going to wrap up the show this week. Thanks for watching and listening. Your time with us is always appreciated. But of course, we're not just interested in your time and attention. We want to know your thoughts. Let us know what you guys think about anything that we discussed this week on the show in the comments on YouTube or on Twitter. Greenlee, hit him with that Twitter again.
At Next to Nothing PC. I'll do a giveaway. I'm making it right now. I'm sorry. I love you.
Also, let us know what you think about the question of the week this week. It's brought to us by Bubba Pudding, which is, who likes Braunschweiger? Let us know in the comments. Look at him sporting that Next to Nothing. The very first Next to Nothing mug. Also,
I have that mug as well.
yes. Guys, we're almost at 4 years now, which means in July, we're going to have another limited edition mug to go up on sale. Just keep that in mind. Anyways, if you guys missed any part of the show or want to take us on the go, you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and everywhere podcasts are found. If you want to catch us live, you can do that every Tuesday on Twitch at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. If you like what we do, you can drop a like or subscribe and ring that bell. That really does help us out a ton on YouTube. But if you guys really want to be the Ubermensch, the Superman, the top tier creme de la creme, the best way you can do that is by telling your friends about the show. Seriously, it helps us out a lot. Otherwise, until next week, stay safe, stay healthy, keep fighting those good fights, and we'll talk to you again next week. Goodbye!
I love you.